I didn't plan van life. What I was trying to do was escape my life. But what I didn't realize is what that decision was actually going to cost me, and I wasn't expecting it. This is not about how great van life is series. This is about what you should think through before you do it series, because that's nothing that I did. At the time when I was trying to escape my life, I was so stressed out, I thought I was going to explode. I don't know how else to explain it. It was maddening, and maybe you know what I mean. My work life was just insane. I was so stressed out. I was a realtor and I was a mortgage broker at the same time, and it was too much. And the people were just, I don't know if you've ever been involved in anything like that, but when you're responsible for people's major life decisions and you're the one responsible if anything goes wrong, you have to fix it. It was just too much. I couldn't stand it anymore. My private life was, my private life, my personal life was in total mess. So at the time I thought, well, you know what? The best thing that I can do is just escape. I don't know how this came into my head about living in a van, but somehow it did. I guess maybe it stayed with me from childhood, because we always went camping, and I had an aunt and uncle that had a big old Class A. I'm not really sure. The only thing that I can say that I did plan for, well, maybe there's two things. The first one was, I didn't know anything about vans, but I knew I was going to have some kind of a down payment. So I worked really hard in this stressful job, harder than I normally would, for more than a year, to save money for a down payment. I didn't know how much van costs. I didn't know how much I would need, but I came up with a number, and that's what I did. The only other thing that I planned was that I was going to retire at 66. I did this all when I was 64, 65, during that time. And the reason I was waiting until I was 66 was because I wanted to be able to collect Social Security at 66 I didn't do it before that, because I wanted to be able to earn as much money as I needed to, and not have to pay anything back. So those were the only two things that I actually planned. Now people say that you can't escape your problems, they follow you. Well, in my case, I left my personal life in the dust behind me, and so I was able to mostly escape that. I still had some emotional things that I had to work through, but I mostly escaped that. Also, I couldn't be a realtor anymore because I can't show houses if I'm in Idaho and the houses are in Amarillo, which is where I was living at the time. I could be a mortgage broker, though, because most of that was just paperwork and electronics. And I knew that the realtors that I worked with would be able to meet with the clients, get the paperwork, and scan it to me. Most clients, however, really did want to meet with you, but fortunately or unfortunately, COVID hit. I moved in January, COVID hit in March. And so suddenly I was able to work mobily and without any problem. So that was a stress relief. So did my problems follow me? Not really, not as much as you might think, but I did create a whole lot of new problems. I didn't think through the fact that I was 66. I bought a van with a 20-year loan. What was I thinking? At 66, I would be 86 and still have to pay for it. I didn't think that through at all. So I had a van payment that I was able to afford at the time because I was still working. But if I ever wanted to actually stop working, then that was going to hold me back. I didn't have a lot of other debts, fortunately, and living in a van is less expensive than living in sticks and bricks. I don't care what you say, it actually is. I had a new van, so I wasn't going to have a lot of breakdowns, which people are afraid of. I haven't really had any major breakdowns that weren't either under warranty or expected, but I didn't plan for the financial future. The next thing I didn't do right was I chose the wrong van twice. I'm a slow learner. I chose the wrong van. I didn't think through how I really wanted to live once I moved into a van, what my life was going to look like, where I was going to go. Maybe I didn't even totally know, but I knew in my heart that I was not the kind of person who wanted to go to campgrounds with everybody all around me. I knew that because I was escaping, that I wanted to be able to be away from people, so that meant I was going to boondock. I have a nice van. It's 22 feet long. It's not high off the ground. It's not a four-wheel drive. It's not even an all-wheel drive. And so I'm limited to a lot of the places that I would like to be able to go. My first van was destroyed. It was totaled when it fell off a lift at a shop. And so I needed to get another van. I was 2 years into my journey when this happened, and I still didn't think through the fact that the van that I had wasn't really meeting my needs. The only thing I could think about, it was such an emotional time, the only thing I could think about was I needed to get a van just like the one I had. So I got one that's almost like the one that I had, but it still doesn't let me go out in the woods and boondock. It doesn't let me do all the things that I really wanted to do. This series, my Dream to Drive series, is about all of the things that I should have done and helping you and guiding you through all of the steps from where you are now until when you drive away in your van, and help you not to make all of the mistakes that I made. If you're thinking about van life or RV life or car camping or whatever it is that you want to do, and part of it may be because you just want to escape life, then subscribe, follow this series, because I'm going to guide you through slowly, intentionally, and hopefully without the mistakes that I made. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the series. The link is below.